Welcome, everyone, to the NoDQ.com live recap of Friday Night Smackdown for March 14th, 2025. It is 6 p.m. Eastern in the United States right now. I am not used to recapping Smackdown this early in the evening. But thanks to WWE airing Smackdown on Netflix internationally, I was able to watch the show live with a VPN, which I do recommend. It is a nice way to check out the shows earlier in the day. If you have the time, of course. Some people have regular jobs. I do this for a living, so I can watch whenever. It's nice to be able to see the shows earlier than usual. I will say that. I'm a big fan of being able to do these live streams earlier in the evening. Now, of course, there will be spoilers for those of you that have not watched SmackDown yet. If you're one of those people and you do not want to be spoiled, turn off the stream right now, watch it later. For those of you watching live right now, I appreciate the viewership. I might have some different viewers from usual watching live since it's an earlier time. Thank you guys for your support. Now, having said that, you got your one warning. If you haven't seen SmackDown yet, let's get to the recap. Barcelona, Spain was the location for this week's SmackDown. The next three SmackDowns, well, now two, will be in Europe as part of the European tour. And of course, Monday Night Raw, the next 3 weeks, will be in Europe. And same thing, the shows will be airing live. Now, everybody will be able to watch Raw live without a VPN. They could just watch on Netflix live if you're watching Raw the next 3 weeks. We kicked off the show with the usual arrivals. Randy Orton was there with his wife. LA Knight, the new United States champion, came to the ring. The crowd was singing Olé. Hot crowd. They were very loud for this entire show. You have to love these European crowds. They always bring the energy. LA Knight joked that it was a tough crowd. He got interrupted, though, by Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso came to the ring, said his road to WrestleMania was desperate, and he challenged LA Knight for a championship match in Barcelona. But then Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline interrupted. Solo was trying to say something, and he stumbled on his words. I'm not sure if he was trying to use an F-bomb and thought twice of it. The gist of the segment, though, was that Solo said Jacob Fatu deserves a United States championship opportunity. Then Tama Tonga came in with the ambush. It was a 3-on-2 attack. Braun Strowman ran out there to make the save, and Teddy Long, no, I'm kidding, general manager Nick Aldis came out there, holla, 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 immediately made a 6-man tag team match. It's your standard WWE segment. We start off with the promo, and then the general manager turns it into a tag team match. We see it all the time. We had our tag team match, LA Knight's team versus the Bloodline. Crowd was very much into it. They were counting in Spanish throughout the entire evening. I did want to take note of that. It was your typical tag team match where the Bloodline had the upper hand for a while. Then LA Knight came in, did some of his moves like the top rope elbow, but then Fatu countered the BTF, regained control for his team. Then Strowman got the hot tag. Strowman did the Strowman Express to all three guys, and then Strowman pinned Tama Tonga with the power slam. Basically what you would expect here, with Tama Tonga being the weak link of the match. Then we had the post-match attack from the Bloodline. Fatu beat the crap out of Strowman, gave him multiple moonsaults. He teased leaving, but then he put Strowman through the ringside barricade. And then later on, Fatu cut a backstage promo, and a match was set up for next week's show. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. I'm wondering if this is all leading to some sort of a multi-man match at WrestleMania for the U.S. title. It does feel like WWE is not pulling the trigger on Fatu and Solo for now. Maybe both of them are in the U.S. title match, and that's when their breakup happens. We'll have to wait and see. We still have over a month until WrestleMania. Things could definitely change. But right now, I feel like it's going to be some sort of a multi-man match, either a match that's a ladder match or six-pack challenge, something like that. We had a video package recapping what happened with Naomi and Jade Cargill. Jade was interviewed in the empty arena before the show, and the big revelation here, she said that she saw Naomi at the end of the attack when Naomi was running away from the scene of the crime. That's how she knew it was Naomi. Then Liv Morgan and Raquel interrupted the segment, and they complained about being blamed for the attack. This all set up Jade Cargill versus Liv Morgan for next week. Next up, we had Charlotte Flair versus B-Fab. Before the match, B-Fab cut a promo, said she's going to build up her own legacy. She spoke in Spanish a little bit. We had our match, which, come on, you know B-Fab's not beating Charlotte on the road to WrestleMania. Match was fine, though. B-Fab did get in some offense. It was competitive. She even got a near fall or two on Charlotte. But then, of course, Charlotte hit the national. That could be Chelsea Green's move, the national selection or national something. Charlotte got the win with the natural selection, followed by the figure 8 submission. Crowd was into it because it was in Barcelona, Spain. Anywhere else, there might have been crickets. After the match was over, Charlotte kept the submission on, would not let go. Tiffany Stratton then ran down to make the save. And we had the Triple H special, the pull-apart brawl. The usual. Officials tried to break them up. They each broke through. Crowd was loving it, though. I mean, this would have gotten a pop anywhere. It's a guaranteed pop in any arena in the world. Then after the commercial break, The Miz came out to the ring for his Miz TV with Cody Rhodes, but he couldn't talk right away because we still had the brawl. Tiffany and Charlotte were still fighting by the entranceway, and Tiffany ended up jumping off the Videotron with a Swanton bomb onto all of the officials. This I thought was cool. This was easily the best thing about this was the Swanton off the Videotron. Made Tiffany look like a big star, and this was the one highlight of it. Otherwise, it was your fairly standard pull-apart brawl. And Ashley Gamer 64 might not be joking that this was pull-apart brawl 48 of the year. I believe it, too. I don't think it was. It was probably like 7 or 8 at this point, but yeah. It might be 48 by the time the year's over. I'll just say that. Miz finally got to talk. He introduced Cody Rhodes. And Miz said he didn't have time for the crowd singing. They pretty much sang the entire song, not just the whoa. But then Cody attacked Miz, left him laying with the crossroads. Cody grabbed him and said he only wanted to speak with John Cena, and he said that he will be at Monday Night Raw to confront Cena. We already knew this. It was a filler segment, basically just to get Cody on SmackDown and nothing else. Not much else to say about it. There was a video package. Drew McIntyre discussed his feud with Damian Priest. McIntyre said this feud is not about championships. He vowed to put Damian Priest down for good. Decent video package. We then had Shinsuke Nakamura backstage saying he wanted a rematch with LA Knight for the US title, but then Damian Priest came in. Priest was looking for a fight, and we had a match between Priest and Nakamura. This was a competitive match. Nakamura definitely got in some offense. Priest, though, was perhaps on the verge of winning, but then McIntyre showed up, interfered, not actually getting involved, but just making his presence known. Nakamura was able to take advantage of a distracted McIntyre. However, Priest did counter the Kinshasa with the chokeslam, the South of Heaven. However, at this point, McIntyre did interfere, got in the ring, attacked Priest, causing a disqualification. Nakamura took out Priest with the Kinshasa. He left. McIntyre continued his attack on Priest. Priest managed to get to his feet despite being hit with the steel steps, so McIntyre took him down with a claymore. McIntyre did some trash talking, said that he's going to make Priest's life a living hell. It was a pretty decent segment here to build up the WrestleMania match. I still think they need more to do to really heat this up. It was a nice start, though. I'll give them that. Not sure why Nakamura had to be protected, but hey, maybe that's a sign he's not actually leaving the company, as was rumored over the internet this past week. We had a couple of teaser videos. The first one, very obvious, was for Rey Fenix, and then there was a second one with the number 4 and some smoke. People are thinking it's for Aleister Black. Might not necessarily be for him, but I'm trying to figure out what the 4 is. Not really sure how that ties in with Black. But yeah, the first one, I mean, it very clearly was the silhouette of Rey Fenix. Not sure if this means he's going to be a single star to debut, or if he'll show up with his brother, Penta. Kurapiko7 says 4 days, maybe, for the other teaser. I guess we'll see. Backstage, the Motor City Machine Guns told DIY that they still have some unfinished business. And then we had Chelsea Green with her Secret Service, including new member Alba Fire. Zelina Vega showed up, said she wants her U.S. title match, and then a match was set up for next week, Zelina Vega versus Piper Niven. In the ring, Gunther, the World Heavyweight Champion, cut a promo. He called himself the greatest European wrestler ever, and then he said he was going to face another great European star. He introduced Spain's own Axiom, one half of the NXT Tag Team Champions. This was the best thing of the show. Even though it's one of those obvious outcomes, Axiom's not winning, they had a really good TV match here. Axiom maximized his minutes, made the most of it, and looked really good against the world champion. It was competitive. Axiom did a lot of his moves. Gunther got the upper hand for a while, chopped him, but then tried to rip off the mask, and that pissed off Axiom. He built up some momentum, came off the top of the missile dropkick, tried to finish off Gunther, but then Gunther hit him with the power bomb, which Axiom kicked out of. Axiom had some life left in him, and then Gunther was able to escape a submission attempt. Axiom hit the golden ratio kick, but there was a kick out, and then Gunther hit not one, but 2 power bombs and got the 1-2-3 victory over a very game Axiom, and Axiom was very game. After the match was over, Gunther put on a sleeper hold, had to get some heat. Officials had to come out there and break things up.
Hey TikTok, it's Alan Walker, and if you want to get this, or this, search Alan Walker on TikTok and tap the banner right now.
All right, I'm back. Might have lost you guys for a moment there. Yeah, very good match between Gunther and Axiom. And I like the fact that Gunther is wrestling on the show and actually being a world champion and beating opponents. That's a positive. That's what got him over as IC champion. Now, we had a video package, Roman Reigns attacking Seth Rollins and CM Punk on Raw. We got the recap of that. And then Paul Heyman cut a promo. He plugged WWE 2K25. He said it's Roman Reigns Day, not CM Punk Day, and certainly not Seth Rollins Day. Crowd started singing Rollins' song. Heyman said he hated Rollins' song, and then Heyman confirmed that Roman Reigns will be appearing on SmackDown next week. Crowd booed this, which I don't blame them for booing. Heyman said, well, you could just fly over to Italy for the show. Mussolini's not there to prevent you from showing up. Stuff is expensive, though. Those tickets ain't cheap, and airfare, I don't know how it is in Europe, but in the States, it's very pricey. It was kind of lame. Like, we didn't need this segment at all. You could have just shown the video package, announced Roman Reigns on the show. As much as I love Paul Heyman, this was a total filler segment. You come out there to tell the people in the crowd that paid a lot of money, Roman Reigns is not going to be there. He'll be on the show next week. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the segment. I think it was more or less a waste of time. And then backstage, we had Gunther talking to Jimmy Uso. Gunther was trying to tell Jimmy, like, Jay should step aside and not bother. He's going to get beat up and embarrassed. But Jimmy then defended his brother, said Jay's going to win the title, and they're going to be yeeting at WrestleMania. So Gunther, his idea did not work to try and talk to Jimmy and get Jay to back out of the match. Backstage, Legado del Fantasma wished the Street Profits luck against DIY, but said they wanted the first championship opportunity at the Champions if Profits were to win. We had our main event for the tag team titles, DIY defending against the Street Profits, with Pretty Deadly watching the match backstage. Profits had a strong start, but then DIY took control, and eventually we got the hot tag, we got the breakdown with everybody in the ring. Profits hit the Doomsday Blockbuster on Gargano, but Ciampa broke up the pin, and then Dawkins went for a Swanton Bomb, but he missed. And then DIY hit the fairy tale ending and super kick combo. Dawkins kicked out of that though. DIY went for the meat in the middle. However, Gargano missed and accidentally hit his partner, Ciampa. And then Ford came back in, came off the top of the frog splash on Gargano, and got the 1-2-3 victory. New tag team champions. We had the pyro going off, the celebration as SmackDown went off the air. I have to say, it was a good match. I was a little surprised to see a title change here on a tape delay show. With WrestleMania coming up in about 5 weeks, I was not expecting a title change here. I figured DIY would hold on to the titles. They have been hot potatoing the tag team titles just a little bit these past several months, and I figured DIY would keep it until WrestleMania. Yeah, a little surprised by it. I definitely see some sort of a multi-team match for WrestleMania. Maybe we're not going to get a title change at WrestleMania now. We'll see. But all in all, a nice little surprise to end the show. All in all, I thought SmackDown was a good show, a little above average. And the reason I say this is we did get a title change. That was significant. I really liked the Gunther match, even though it was ultimately predictable. It was still very solid. Nice to see him wrestling on TV. Axiom had a strong showing. I liked that. The crowd was really hot. That was a positive. I think I forgot to talk about Randy Orton versus Carmelo Hayes. I did talk about that. That was earlier in the show. That was before the Gunther match. So let me go back here and before I finalize my score here. Randy Orton versus Carmelo was good, but it was about what you would expect out of these two, and it was the outcome you would expect. Carmelo was competitive with Randy Orton. Orton, though, countered a springboard cutter attempt with a power slam, and he was eventually able to hit the RKO. Carmelo got out a few times, but then Orton finally hit it, got the 1-2-3 victory clean. Now, before the match, Carmelo went for a handshake and took it back. After the match, Orton tried to show some respect. He helped up Carmelo, went for a handshake. Carmelo turned him down again, and this time Randy Orton had enough. He RKO'd Carmelo again, went for the punt kick. Kevin Owens pulled Carmelo to safety. Owens threw Orton into the ring post back first and then ran away through the crowd. Segment was fine. It was standard. There was a lot of filler on the show. I feel like Barcelona deserved a better show. Like, they were hot. They brought the energy. I thought it was just a slightly above episode of SmackDown with a hotter crowd than usual. I wasn't the biggest fan of the pull apart brawl, so I have to knock it down a little for that. I'm going 6 out of 10. And as I mentioned earlier, I used a VPN to watch live on Netflix. You can do that. Enter your region as Canada, and you can watch SmackDown live on Netflix. 6 out of 10 for me. Good show, hot crowd, but I think Barcelona should have gotten a little bit of a more notable show. Like, when you have to have Paul Heyman come out there and blabber for a few minutes and then say, oh, Roman Reigns is on next week. Like, come on, you're wasting our time. So yeah, hopefully next week will be a bigger show in Italy. We got Roman Reigns showing up, so that alone will make it a big SmackDown, and we get closer to WrestleMania. Hopefully things heat up for next week. That's it for tonight. Thank you guys for watching. For those of you watching that normally don't live because of the time difference, I hope you enjoyed. Join me for the next couple of weeks. I'll be doing this early for Raw the next 3 episodes, and then the next 2 episodes of SmackDown, we'll be doing this early. Thank you guys again. Have a great weekend. Stay safe out there. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.